I've got the ping. We're live.
Oh,
It's 10 o'clock, British summertime in Ireland and Portugal and Britain as well. This isn't GB News because you can hear us perfectly clear. Yes.
Yes, GB News production values. I thought whenever we started, they were terrible.
No, they weren't.
No, not in comparison to GB News, they're not.
No, they're not.
I will cross over to James over in the thing, and it shows you some girl sitting there having a smoke. Oh, one light.
Boy.
Unbelievable.
There's Mark Curzon. Mark Curzon already. He always likes to be first in.
He does.
You know? I would like to know how. I would like to know how he does that. He's like the BT engineers that won the Concorde flights. You know, he was sitting at the telephone exchange ready to hit go.
I think it's because, do you remember he done the vaccine trials? His electronics is about. Bill Gates has electronics working, no problem. So he has.
It could be. So we had a rather good week this week, didn't we?
Well, you had a good night last night. I know that because you were pissed as a fart.
Yes, well, if the drink's free, it's very hard to say no.
Yes, we'll get on to that later. Just in anti-tour guiding mode with me, another tour guide.
There we go.
Yep.
So, welcome to the show. It is, of course, Irish Whiskey Review. You're joining us on Facebook. You're joining us on YouTube. It repeats on Instagram. It repeats on LinkedIn as well. And when I can be tuned into the internet, I can do Twitch as well at some point. So, I don't know whether you're all too old to do Twitch. All I do is have twinges now. That's it.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I know Twitch is another one. It's another one that you need to do, like TikTok and stuff like that. There, it's a bit like that. You know, right. I don't know how it works, and I've been online since 1989. Hell of a lot of.
There's a thing on this tonight, and I need you to explain it to me because I'm totally baffled.
Listen. Some of the stuff I don't even get. I am reading it off the screen when I'm telling you the answer. I Wikipedia it and tell you. Well, so that's it. So we've got This Week in Whiskey, and then we have, hopefully, fingers crossed, a guest later on tonight because we're previewing Belfast Whiskey Week. Yes,
we're going to have our good friend Paul and have a wee yarn with him. That's not that he needs any more exposure because he's getting himself put about a bit, you know.
He is indeed. We better say hi to all these people because they're tuned in already. Sean's tuned in. Linda's tuned in. Michael's tuned in. Eric's tuned in. James and Moira Doherty are tuned in. They never miss a show. Thank you very much for the support, by the way. And Mark Kerr as well was already mentioned. William McClellan there. And Julie Mason too as well. And Peter Stewart, I always go to read that as Patrick Stewart, you know, but no such luck.
Engage.
Engage. I've engaged it.
I think we should just finish the show after that. That's pretty much how I reckon we should finish it up.
I know. That makes me so patriotic. I want to show the flag, Marty. There they go. There's the flag.
No. You better down this part of the world. You see they've got graffiti up there. The sea border sells Avon or something. If somebody's looking at it. Anyway, This Week in Whiskey. It's been a sort of a funny week this week. It's a bit slow, but it's basically what's caught my eye all week. First up, the Irish Whiskey Association have teamed up with the Dairy Industry Ireland and the Dairy Council to give a joint presentation to the Irish Senate's Brexit Committee. Obviously that's to meet any the challenges with Brexit, of which there are obviously many. Now, obviously, the Dairy Council's got different concerns than the Whiskey Association, but they're not that dissimilar in many ways. Certainly not if you think about something like Bailey's and that kind of stuff, you know. So anyway, since the 1st of January, some whiskey sellers and dairy producers have lost their EU originating status under all EU trade agreements. So the rules of origin do not recognise inputs or processing outside of the EU, despite the free movement of goods in Ireland and Northern Ireland. So Northern Ireland is included in the designations. Now, the EU trade agreement affects Irish whiskey primarily produced in the Republic of Ireland, but containing inputs from Northern Ireland and vice versa. Now, an example that they gave, the Irish Whiskey Association gave, was South Africa. Irish whiskies without EU origin status have to pay a tariff of 154 cents per litre, against those with the status pay nothing. Now, you can imagine that makes a huge impact, and all of this.
I don't really get this. How does that make sense, Marty?
Justin, it's one of these things that if something's an Irish product, is it Irish? But there's another addendum sort of to this story, because Northern Ireland obviously sits in a very different place. It's got a very different status in many ways. Now, that's detrimental to Irish whiskies and Irish whiskies made both north and south. But the UK government has agreed a free trade agreement with Australia, which will see Scotch whisky traded, and this is what makes the headlines. So this is obviously what makes the headlines, but we'll see Scotch whisky traded without tariffs. Now, currently, Scotland exports £126 million worth of drinks to Oz every year. And the document states that Australia and UK commit to use best endeavours to secure agreement in Australia to the UK proposal for a whisky definition in a form enforceable by domestic authorities and to implement in the UK. Australia's proposals under the wine agreement, both taking account of consultation requirements. So basically what they're saying is that there will be a definition of whisky in Australia, and that Scotch whisky will be traded tariff-free. But the Irish Whiskey Association has meant that Northern Irish whiskey will be included in that deal. So you can see where it's up and down. There'd be more whiskies, I would imagine, sold in Australia than in South Africa. I don't have the figures, but I imagine that would be the case. So all of this is it means there's a sort of unlevel playing field. It's affecting different areas and different markets, which obviously adds a whole level of complexity. But certainly in Northern Ireland, if we had some decent leadership up here, we could probably make a good fist at all of it, But all you have to do is look at the political situation up here. I mean, it's ridiculous. But it is. It's just that it's one of those interesting things that at the minute, who knows how that's going to play out. But it's a challenge, but it could have benefits. Who knows?
It's a very strange time, very strange situation,
Yeah, it is. It really is.
So what can you do? I still can't make head or tail of it, and I think a lot of people can't either.
Well, I was talking to someone who was coming from Heathrow to Northern Ireland and tried to buy a bottle of whiskey, and was told that they couldn't buy the bottle of whiskey in Heathrow if they were coming to Northern Ireland. Now, that's in the UK, to come to the part of the UK, and they were told that if they were going to any other part of the UK, they could buy it, or if they were going to Dublin, they could buy it. It's only Northern Ireland.
No, that's nonsense. That's somebody interpreting rules with a clipboard that hasn't a foggy, because that's not equitable.
How can that possibly be the case? And it's little wonder that lots of people are getting, one, very confused, and two, very angry about all of this, because it seems as if this bit and that bit applies, that bit doesn't apply, maybe that bit applies. I mean, the whole Amazon sending alcohol, nothing changed, but Amazon stopped selling it, and then one day just decided they were going to send it over. Yeah. And there was nothing actually changed. So why was there so much confusion? And when a massive corporation like Amazon have this problem, how's the little guy supposed to know what's going on? I mean, I was talking to some guys over in Glenarm Castle, and they're waiting on a part coming in for a machine, and it's been held up because Brexit means they can't import it from Italy. So, I mean, the whole thing well, all you have to do is look at the political leaders, and that's that's enough of that.
Yeah.
So, but it was interesting, I thought.
Bad. But here's good news. Out of one club, into the other club.
Now, Middleton have been busy boys in the past couple of weeks. Now, the first story is the Barrel Club, which is an annual membership club limited to 500 members in Ireland, by the way. And each member will receive a welcome gift box. Okay? That'll be a specially personalised Distillery edition bottle, a tasting glass, and a journal. Then after that, each quarter, a limited edition whiskey consignment, including 3 50ml samples and a bottle, obviously a full bottle, each themed and handpicked by Kevin O'Gorman. Right? Each member will then get the 700ml exclusive bottle along with their 3 50ml samples. They'll all be handpicked. And along with that, you get an exclusive access to Distillery Whiskey Education, virtual tastings. This bit I don't understand. Rare finds. I don't know what that means. As well.
That sounds like old barrels that are down the back of the warehouse and you come across them, doesn't it?
It just says rare finds, and I don't really know what that means, but I'm sure if you join the club, all will be revealed.
Do you have any bottles of those Red Label left? Because that would be a rare find, wouldn't it?
Well, probably not. I wouldn't have thought that's a rare find. There'd be a fair few of them about. If they were very rare, Justin, I'd have been charging more for the bottles. Shh, don't say that. A behind-the-scenes tour at Middleton or a whiskey blending class at Jameson Bow Street. Now, as I say, it's limited to 500 members, and it costs €499, which to me seems extremely good value for money.
Right, considering you get all of that.
Yeah. Now, the box, it says future drops, which I imagine this is the quarterly boxes that you're going to be getting. One is the influence of Spanish oak, again handpicked by O'Gorman. Then the next one would be diversity of pot still whiskey, and then Pars John's Lane deconstructed. So I mean, I think you're getting pretty good value for money for that. The exclusive bottles, I mean, these are Middleton bottles, I assume. So yeah, I think that sounds like terrific value for money.
Oh, it looks rather swish. It looks like that mirror pack that you get from Dunville's, doesn't it? A wee bit. That's that square shape. We got a nice pack last night as well, didn't we? Rather nice pack.
We'll come to that later, Justin.
I know.
Because I still have mine. You drank all yours, and I had to listen to you on the way home.
I don't even know where my glass is gone. And I wanted the secret glass. That's what I wanted. The secret glass that doesn't exist. That's what I wanted, but we didn't get it. We didn't get it.
So the Barrel Club, to me, I mean, for what you're getting there, I think that sounds pretty good value for money,
Now there's Peter Stewart saying only in the south, not available in Northern Ireland. Is he talking about? Is he talking about the Amazon stuff, or is he talking about this Middleton club? I hope he isn't talking about this Middleton club.
I don't know. I haven't signed up to buy it, but it says on it available in Ireland, so I assume it's north and south.
All right. There's Eric Van Den saying unlimited to the Irish. Why are we excluded?
Yeah. And in the EU too. Middleton's in the EU.
I know.
Right.
It's because you're Belgian and they don't like Hercule Poirot. That's why.
Or Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh, I quite like Jean-Claude Van Damme. But anyway.
Oh, he's not the best actor in the world, Justin. He's not
Barrel Club. He's talking about the Barrel Club. There you go. He says it's not available in the north. Don't worry. I have an address dropped down there anyway. Peter Stewart says he tried to join, and there you go. You heard it here first. Peter Stewart tried to join, and he couldn't join it.
I haven't tried to join it, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Although there is a wee sneaky trick on one of the buying whiskey websites. If you click UK, they won't send it to you, but if you click Ireland, they do send it to you.
Yeah.
So it's one of those wee things. It's like signing up for something which isn't available in Northern Ireland because it's gambling or something like that. There, just give your cousin's postcode in England, and they never know the difference. But anyway,
yeah.
You heard it here. You heard it here first. What's next tonight, Marty?
Well, it's still Middleton. Middleton have opened the world's first craft collection store in Dublin's high-end department store, Brown Thomas.
Wow!
And it looks quite nice. Now you can see in the picture that they're stocking all the Pars range, the Spot range, Redbreast, Middleton Very Rare. along with the first bottle. Whether it's still available, I could have been bought up by now, although I doubt it. The first bottle of Middleton Very Rare Silent Distillery Collection number 2. So there's 70 bottles of this 46-year-old single pot still, and it's €40,000.
Is that fancy bottle? Is it? Yeah.
It's the fancy bottle, yes. Just.
Wow. That is fancy. Do you know what it looks like? It looks like the front of the Titanic coming at you, doesn't it?
Yeah, throw ice at it. Get down. No, as I say, it's 40 grand. And they haven't released this yet because they've said, what they do is, remember, they send you out the lottery ticket, and if you win the lottery ticket, you owe them 40 grand. You have to sum up, is it €1,000 that day, and then you've like 72 hours to find 39,000.
I think that's not what I call a lottery. Maybe that's why it's not available in Northern Ireland, because you're not allowed to do things like that in the prize draws.
That you have to go to Dublin to pick up and buy.
Yeah. I asked, is Antrim not in Ireland? Got the answer, maybe soon, hang on. Oh, boy, I tell you. There you go.
Now, next up, this is where I need your expertise, Justin, and not just in talking nonsense, right? This is Crypto Whiskey. Now, this is a website. I come across this the other day. And do you remember a few weeks ago, Ernest from Conceal Spirits, top guy that he is, told us about you selling an NFT, a non-fungible token, to actually buy a barrel of whiskey, buy a cask of whiskey, right?
He did quite well out of that in the end, didn't he?
And rightly so, because he was doing a quality thing. He was selling a token.
Yeah.
He was selling an actual token to buy a cask. You know, to me, it was just like almost like an auction. But anyway, that's what we got. This is a bit more perplexing. On the blurb of this website, it says Crypto Whiskey reveals tones of sweet crypto anarchism flavored with Ethereum shades. Now, Ethereum's that one of them Bitcoiny things, isn't it, Justin?
Yes, it was doing quite well for a while, but it sort of halved in value there recently.
Well,
in the fall. One of the reasons why I didn't buy a boat this year.
Right. Okay. Right. Now, I think this is what you get, because I've read through it and it's a bit beyond me. I think you get a virtual bottle of whiskey, and then after a while, by 2030, you actually get a bottle of whiskey that they buy a cask, and when you go. But this is the thing, Justin. Now, when you go to the website, and I checked this on one of the currency exchange places, there's 201 bottles that you can buy virtually.
Okay.
All right. And they're asking for 15 Ethereum for them each. Now, I Googled this. I Sharon this, and anybody knows who Sharon is. Sharon's Justin's nemesis on the radio show. Justin comes up with a quiz, and she gets the answer after about 2 seconds, and he berates her for it every week. It's dead funny. Anyway.
She's a real person, by the way.
Now, I Googled this. 15 Ethereum is apparently worth 24,258 quid.
Doesn't sound like a very good deal to me. I had to go back and buy the Brown Thomas bottle. That's what I'd do.
Aye. But here's the other thing, right? Bottle number 201, we bear in mind 201 bottles for sale, is priced at 5,000 Ethereum, which is £8,086,268 for a virtual bottle of whiskey, which you may get. I think you get a real one by 2030. It's a bit steep.
It is a bit steep, and it's a bit cheeky because they have the Masonic-esque symbol there on the crypto whiskey bottle, which I'm not too keen in that, you know.
No, don't you start going all Dan Brown on us and the Da Vinci Code. No, all I will say is it's a Russian site. Make of that what you will. But 5,000 Ethereum. Not that I actually know what an Ethereum is. I know it, so I don't get all that. cryptocurrency.
After Bitcoin, it's one of the most recognizable ones.
But I don't understand any of that, if I'm totally honest, because it just baffles me. But anyway, £8 million for a virtual bottle of whiskey. So Ernest at least was selling something of value. But there you go. It was beyond me what actually they're doing, you know.
So what's next this week? Do we have to hit action stations yet?
No. The last bit is the Scotch Whisky Action Fund, right, has set up a scheme to give out grants of up to £25,000 for the investment of money to groups and organisations in Scotland. Now, it's through Foundation Scotland, that have innovative plans to reduce the impact of alcohol-related harm in Scotland's communities. Okay, the fund's focused on innovative or pilot initiatives. Now, all applicants must fit the Foundation Scotland's funding criteria, but if you are involved in some sort of alcohol initiative in Scotland, contact Jennifer McPhail on 0141 341 4964 or email her at jennifer@foundationscotland.org.uk. In 4 years, they've given away 47 grants that have totaled up to almost 600,000. And applicants such as Edinburgh's Young Carers, Govan Youth Information Project, Paisley Young Men's Christian Association. So if anybody out there has any of these projects going in Scotland, apply for some money and you could possibly get 25,000 to help you do your project.
Seems like quite a worthy cause, that. Yeah.
Well, it is, and I think we do have to remember a lot of the time. I mean, alcohol can be very, very damaging for a lot of people, and it's worthwhile whenever we're talking about this stuff to remember that, and that there are people out there helping people with problems with them, you know.
No, this is the good bit.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, you see, as for me, because I still got my whiskey from last night because I was driving.
I know, but I enjoyed it. It was very nice. And the only thing is, I could tell the difference between the whiskies
finally
before I tried them. So that's actually scaring me when I had all three of them. And, they were blank labeled. And before he even told us what they were, I says, that has to be the new one because I haven't smelt that smell before. It's sort of, the memory goes into your head. And I knew I hadn't tried that Copeland Master Blend or whatever it's called.
Well, you'll like the wee feature we're going to do at the end, Justin. You'll like this because this is all about educating your palate, educating your brain, educating your oral factory sense.
All right. Can I show the pre-record of Paul then? Can I? Yes.
Put it on.
Oh, can I show the food first?
Yeah, enough of it. So you can see.
While Paul was talking for over an hour, we got these lovely canapes. The fig one was my favorite one. I don't think it's in the picture because
I swiped the menu.
You have the menu. They were delicious.
Beef carpaccio with white truffle aloe.
They were
cured salmon.
They were delicious. Anyway, here's Paul telling us all about Belfast Whiskey Week before we go in depth with them in about 7 minutes' time.
It just got even bigger. So we've kept it to 9 days. We've kept it completely virtual. The entire thing is streamed using an online platform which we've helped design, and we have something like 216 hours worth of content. Those numbers might not sound like a lot, but that's 9 full days of 2 12-hour simultaneous streams. It makes it the largest whisky festival in the world. That's a fact. And the fact that it's based here in Belfast is something which I'm very proud of. We are working with roughly 65 different whisky brands from around the world. So we've got brands from Australia, brands from America, Canada, across Europe, Scotland, and obviously here in Ireland. In fact, we're only missing, out of all the brands in Ireland, we're actually only missing 4 of them. So that says a lot about how important the Irish whisky brands, the distilleries, find this festival and what they want to use the festival for and how they can get out to different markets. We have been, I said headhunted, and I definitely should say that, by 2 of the largest malt independent malt bottlers from Scotland. So both the Scotch Malt Whisky Society, who are a global brand, contacted us to be involved in the festival and saw the festival being something that they want to be part of, as well as Douglas Lanes, who again would be deemed as probably one of the biggest independent bottlers in Scotland. So we're now at 95. Potentially we could be at 100 events by the time this kicks off properly. But we're at 95 events, and that's 95 whisky tastings. That's not including other events on top of that, which I really should talk about how many events there are. It's 95 whisky tastings. And then we've got debates and Q&A sessions. We've got music which have been pre-recorded by artists around the country, same with comedians. And it's just it is a festival. We want people to experience that. Now it's done virtually this year. We've made it a hybrid event. So we've done the whole thing to be virtual. That's probably the easy part. The hard part's then to try and create that hybrid environment. It's lovely to have a partnership here with Hastings. They're one of the partners of the festival. And so this year's a little bit more interesting because we've got the use of some of the hotels and people can come and stay here and be part of the festival. So we're opening up venues, and the venues are being risk assessment for COVID restrictions, and we're making that happen. So we're very excited to welcome people to some of the venues and allow them to come and experience the festival. It takes a lot of work to create such an online event. Most participants will get what you have here, which is an introduction pack. They'll have 3 whiskies and they'll get a glass. It's a Belfast Whiskey Wheat Brandy glass. We also have a secondary glass, which I didn't bring because I didn't want to bring it because no one knows what it looks like and it's been kept in the dark. And I didn't want to spoil that for anyone who's bought into the festival. So at one point you've got to remember that whiskey in Northern Ireland specifically, not necessarily in the whole of Ireland, but in Northern Ireland is the biggest money maker. So you think of the shipyards, and everyone thinks it's the shipyards, and people think it's the linen or the flax, but it's not per head, per employee. Whiskey makes more money, and and I'd like to see that industry coming back. I don't think it'll ever get to that peak, but it'd be nice to see it. There's no harm to Belfast adopting something like this, a festival like this, and creating it as part of its culture. It is already, it's already established itself through the whiskey world as being something very important. It'd be very nice for Belfast to understand how important that is, and the people of Belfast to understand how important it is. What we want to do is bring back a legacy here that we had of whiskey production. Belfast was one of the largest whiskey producers in the world. At one point we were making more whiskey here in Belfast specifically than the whole of Scotland's industrialised whiskey making. And so what we have now is just a massive crop of distilleries popping up all over the place, and it's absolutely beautiful to see. It really has engaged the enthusiast, the whiskey drinker. And you know what? We have some beautiful distilleries on our doorstep now. County Down specifically is no doubt, without shadow of a doubt, a whiskey capital. It is in akin to Islay. It has to be. It has to be known as, when it comes to territory and region, County Down must have its own region at some point. There's no doubt about that. There's more distilleries in County Down than there are in Dublin. That says it all, And we're very lucky to have that. So we've got Hinch Distillery very close to us. We've got Ecklandville Distillery. We've got Copeland Distillery. We've got the lads in Cologne. We've got more and Dew. We're really, we have so much. We're very lucky to have, all these distilleries at our, doorstep, as it were. And the world of whiskey is changing. It's changing dramatically. Not only is Irish whiskey doing this in the markets, but the consumer, the type of person that's drinking whiskey, is not specifically. And we used this phrase last year. 2019. I coined this phrase. This is my phrase, quite specifically. You know what I mean? And I thought it was real. It's not just your dad's drink. You know what I mean? It's just not. It's just not your dad's drink anymore. And it's not. Whiskey belongs to everybody. We all have different flavour profiles. We all like something different. Some like savoury, some like sweet. And whiskey allows that to happen. We have thousands of whiskies to choose from, thousands of flavour profiles. And it is very much at that level of sophistication but it becomes a very, very refined drink that people need to explore and understand. You can still just drink away and not think about it and just be, it's just a whiskey, why don't I just have a whiskey and have a drink? And that's important, as long as you like the taste of it. Don't drink it for the wrong reasons. But, it is a whiskey, as a spirit, it's something that we can, I suppose as an enthusiast, I get passionate about, get very passionate about. But the whiskey just has more to it than just what we've got in our glass,
There you go. What about that? Really passionate about it, and even says he's passionate, but he is.
Yeah, he is.
Talked very well in that presentation. He did
indeed. And it was nice. He got filled out some questions, so a couple of quite awkward questions, and he batted them away. He was quite comfortable in doing them.
They were indeed. What did you think of it yourself? It was good to get out and about because they obviously had cut the numbers right down. There was only 12 of us there in a very large room,
That's all we were allowed. That under the COVID restrictions, that's the thing we're living in now. Whenever we were there, we got these bottles. Now Justin drank all his last night. Marty saved his. So first one was Copeland, then we had McConnell's, and then we had the Dunvilles. And we got them in this rather fetching presentation pack, which is the new one. Oops, hang on. The crack is back.
Yeah. Very, very lovely, very well done, and that's basically what you get at the entry level. But there's some fantastic offers on. 95 different tastings, I believe. A lot is involved in this, and people from all over the world. I wonder if Geordie Burke and anybody in Canada has picked up any of the Belfast Whiskey Week stuff yet, because it's still open at the minute. We're still 10 days away, aren't we? Something like that.
Yeah. And there's loads of stuff going on. I've went through some of the taste and some of the stuff that is available, and I just saw tonight. I'll just bring this up here. The Pierce Lionsman showcase. You get 6 samples for 40 quid. I'm not even 100% sure what all the 6 samples from them would be, but seriously, whenever I've seen that, I left it out. I have an unopened bottle of that Pierce Lyons Distillers Founder's Choice. That's fabulous whiskey. The stuff that they've been doing down there for the last while is top quality stuff. And their distillery is just absolutely beautiful if you ever get a chance to get down. And there's loads of stuff. There's
what's the background of that Pierce Lyons distillery then? Why are they so exceptional in your opinion, Marty?
Well, I'll tell you that's really exceptional. Pierce Lyons was an Irish guy who went to Kentucky and made billions, but wanted to come back and make whiskey, and he bought the old church, whatever church it is, down in Dublin, and converted it into really the most beautiful distillery you could imagine. They were making whiskey off-site for a period of time, and then installed their stills down there. So they have their own spirit stuff, and they're one of these sort of smallish producers with big backing, and that I thought that whiskey was absolutely something special because of the flavour profiles that it goes through. It starts off with apples and ends up like coffee.
Well, there's the man himself. Paul
Hello.
joins us now. Good evening.
Your sound.
You can hear me okay?
Turn it up a bit. Yeah, just about, Paul. We can just about hear you. You're in your caravan.
I know why you can't hear me. Give me 2 seconds. Is that any better?
Pardon?
That's better.
Yeah,
that must be a wee bit better. Right.
It is a wee bit better. It is. Yes.
I'm
Yes,
think
I'm
number
back in
3
the
from
caravan, back in sunny Ballycastle, and look, we've got a beautiful view. Sweet.
That's Rathlin Island over there, isn't it?
It is indeed Rathlin. Indeed.
All right.
So yeah.
I might take a wee run over to Rathlin sometime next week, the week after next maybe, because I haven't been over for years, and I have a good friend lives there, so I might take a run over. Beautiful place.
Zero COVID. Zero
COVID. They locked the whole place down.
Yeah.
Well, you have a lot to answer for, because I had to run Justin home last night. Justin had all those samples in him. He had Irish coffees in him. He was necking stuff. By the time he was going out, he was whistling, right? I had to listen to him trying to tour guide me back up to Carrickfergus, right? I had to, at one point, I just screamed at him, please shut up. I don't care. Nobody cares any of this that you're talking about. Only one. So it's your fault.
Oh, listen, I can't apologise. I cannot apologise at all. We had great crack last night. It was great fun.
It was good.
I really enjoyed myself at the launch of the festival last night with the journalists and the like. Oh, no, it was great crack. So I'm glad you enjoyed yourself, Justin. I'm glad you got full with the good food and the good samples.
I like the Europa Hotel. I like the Europa Hotel. You know, I like the top observation deck, and the other one even better. You know, in the Grand Central.
Observatory.
Yeah,
well, I think the Europa does the best breakfast of probably any hotel that I've ever in. It's fabulous. All the stuff's top quality, and they always have a bottle of Bushmills just in case you need a hair of the dog in the morning.
Oh, nope. Paul's frozen. He's frozen. Log back in for us, Paul. Oh. He's down the caravan. He's up the country, and everybody and their dogs probably in Ballycastle at their caravan tonight.
It's packed down here tonight. My signal's up and down like a.
I know.
Well, I don't know what.
I do notice the signal has been a bit off tonight, but there was a fair interest from the journalists getting really some good coverage in like the Belfast Telegraph for Belfast Whiskey Week, which is in its 5th or 6th year now, Marty, isn't it?
No, that's only its 3rd year, and it's got. I mean, I remember the first year, and I was down in the Cathedral Quarter, and I happened to Paul doing a Bushmills tasting, and it was. It was just bare bonesy kind of stuff. I mean, it was doing good stuff.
Well, it grew out of the Belfast Whiskey Club, didn't it?
It did, which Paul runs as well. I mean, he's extremely busy, and last year he had lots of plans to do hosting stuff, and obviously COVID hit and knocked it all away. And very quickly, just like that, he changed it, and it was a massive hit. Maybe in part thanks to COVID, who knows? Because a lot of people had access to it that would never have had access to it. He was saying last night that there's something like 70 boxes being sent to Argentina.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can get them in Canada, Geordie, if you sign up. You can send everywhere. You know, there's prices for all countries and territories throughout the world. I mean, Argentina is particularly big for Irish whiskey because I do know they follow us on Instagram and they usually click and like everything every week.
Well, just to bore you with tour guiding stuff the way you did with me last night, Argentina has the largest Irish immigrant population of any known English-speaking country in the world. So there you go. But so that's probably why there's as much interest there. But Paul said last night that there are states in America that are getting as many boxes as people in Ireland are getting. So it's a global thing, and probably in part that's thanks to the COVID.
That's a bit like us, Paul. We're saying about there's nearly as many people in America signed up as people in Ireland. We have as many podcast listeners in India as we have in Ireland.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you kick me out? What did you do there?
No, you just froze and the signal went. It's just because you're up the country at the caravan, and then I had to click you out.
Me and you are both on the North Antrim coast, and mine just sits and goes like this, and then back up again, and then back down again. My signal, because there's a wee green box here, so that's what it is.
Right. Okay. I'll accept that. I thought you kicked out.
No, you've got your hand over the microphone now.
Oh, do you know the problem is it won't work on the iPad, so I'm having to do it on the phone. Does this work?
No, you've gone sideways.
No, it doesn't work.
And now you've put your hand over the antenna. You see?
Aye, that's what you need. Aye, get a wire coat hanger stuck down the back of your phone and your microphone jack.
That's what I need to do. Here, do you know what I'm representing tonight? Look at this. I'm brand awareness tonight. What have I got on? Cologne Cult. Right.
Oh,
okay.
Right, watch this. Right. 2 stacks.
Very good.
Hold
on, gets better. These guys pay me loads of money.
Sexton.
Yeah. Hey.
And here, this is the Father's Day gift. This is a Father's Day thing, right? And no joke, this is funny, right? You got a bag, you get the bottle, right? Full size bottle, and the glass.
Pretty
That's
cool.
Nice. That's nice glass now. That is a nice glass.
Yeah, for 28 quid. Cheaper than the bottle.
Wow, that is a deal. Here, where'd my tour gas go? I got home last night and I couldn't find the glass in the box. What about this mystery glass that you're bringing out? What's it all about?
I can't be telling anyone any of that malarkey. Hold on, I still haven't finished. Hinge Distillery. Look at that. Hinge. Have you been to Hinge yet? Anyone been to Hinge?
I've been in Hinge, yes.
I was in a Hinge last year before it
Don't lose me
finished.
now. Well, here. Have you been up? Have you done the tasting?
No.
No.
I've been in the tasting room, but I haven't done a tasting.
See the tasting room, right? They've got this wee thing here, right? Look at this. It's like a wee perfumey kind of thing. Watch this, right?
Oh, don't disappear on us. We want to see this.
We've lost you again, Paul.
What?
Oh no, you're back again.
Do you know what I'm going to do?
Get the land of the wife's phone. He's going to get the land of the wife's phone. There you go. That's what he's going to do. It's signal for us. It always lets us down. We've been pretty reliable with the broadband this while back, Marty, but haven't we?
Actually, to be honest, you're down in the Northampton coast. You can't.
Although talk, I've put my bill up another £2.50 this time.
Sure, you can afford it with all your Ethereum and crypto weirdo currencies. And all that.
Not when it halves in price. I can't. Yeah.
No, Northampton coast. I mean, if he's beyond his weapon.
Here he comes. He's back again. You back in the room, Paul?
I'm on a Wi-Fi connection, so I've decided to scrap that and just go with the 4G.
4G's far better. Yeah.
Nice.
So this guys, when you do the Hinge Distillery tasting, right? Now I thought to myself, it's an absolutely gorgeous distillery, but I thought to myself, when they showed me this, I was blown away. Right? It's one of these it's supposed to keep your skin cool. You know, you put a wee bit of water in here.
Yeah.
You're on your summer holidays and you're blowing it, right? But it's just whiskey.
That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
It is pretty. Listen, guys.
You look like you're a vaping. You look like you're vaping.
That's what it looks like.
That's what it feels like. I'm going to be walking down the street going.
And everybody going. Everybody going. Is that a sherry cask finish?
I actually cheated. I put the apricot brandy 2 stacks cash strength in here just for the crack.
Jesus, I really don't put it near a naked flame. That's like napalm. I just have the first cut, the complex one here.
Yes.
What was that? That's only 40. That's only 43%.
You need this is cash strength. This comes in at crazy o'clock. It's like 67% or something.
I have the distiller's cut about there somewhere, and that's like 68.5 or something.
It's mad. It's madness. But see the I mean, just the smell of this, right? But you just leave it on and see in the room. But I'm thinking to myself, it's like perfume. I'm like,
aye,
yeah.
I could see the young guys spraying that on down the club. You know, come get me, girls.
And listen, see if you once you've sprayed yourself, you've got a shot of whiskey in here. Look, I unscrew that. Naked.
Happy days. Happy days.
Listen, you were kind enough to invite me on tonight. I suppose you didn't want to just talk about perfume and loads of brands that I have in front of me, but you probably want to talk about the Whiskey Week, which is really kind of you guys. Because to be honest, people like yourself, given the festival, the time of day, I really appreciate it. I really do. I think it's absolutely fabulous. So thank you.
I think what you've done. I mean, in 3 years. I mean, this is the 3rd year. Yeah. It's just remarkable. And I mean, I mentioned whenever you were having the technical difficulties, I said that last year you had the plans to do live events, to do thing, and obviously COVID just kicked that out. But probably in some ways that benefited you because you were able to go online and get it worldwide on a scale that you probably couldn't have done otherwise. Yeah,
and you know what, 1,000%. And we went from 500 unique users 2019 in physical events in Belfast to 1,000-ish unique users from around the world. So our actual numbers, easily 75% of the users last year were from outside of Belfast. And at least half of them from outside of Ireland. So predominantly America and Australia, Canada.
Now, we've been asked a question, Paul, about Canada. Geordie Burke is saying, wish we could get some of the samples in Canada. And he's saying that Canadian customs and excise really suck, especially for liquor. I mean, you haven't had any problems getting stuff to Canada, have you?
We've never had any problems going to Canada. I think what we have had going to Canada, so if we're going to be very honest, there's real rules. You have to be playing by the rules. I mean, you don't want to mess about with people's taxations. But what you have to do as the consumer, as well, is understand that there is a level of risk, and at the same time, always declare what's coming to you as well. So, when we put the stuff out to Canada, we just we follow the rules, and it's really up to the Canadian customs to make sure that they're also doing their right job as well. So, we have. I mean, you talk about India. That's really interesting. Out of all the countries in the world that to get liquid into, that probably is one of the toughest. It probably is one of the toughest, and I think that we would follow the rules, and I think it's really up to the local customs officials to take that, what we are telling them and what is being told by the recipient. That they have to have a bit of common sense about them. So and look, Canada, we've not had a problem, and we've got some lovely connections in Canada, who help us out and do some work within the festival itself. So we've been very lucky. But yeah, it's really great to have people from outside of Ireland getting to understand all these Irish whiskey brands, getting to understand what Belfast is about, what the crack is here, what we're about, and we just look. I suppose the long term goal, because of this, COVID malarkey and putting us online and letting us do our things virtually, is to make sure that people can come here, for when they want to, for when they feel that they're capable, and when they believe that they can turn up. Let them come here. Let them come and experience Belfast. So, this year, 95 events. That's 95 whiskey tastings. And on top of that, we've got debates and Q&A sessions, which people will want to listen to. So we've got a debate surrounding poaching, debate about terroir, for example's sake. There'll be Q&A sessions on different parts of the industry. So a Q&A session on barrel programming, cask managements, lots of things that and I suppose a Q&A session on how big is the Irish whiskey industry getting, and can it take on again at some point Scotch? So there's lots of conversations there.
I read a report there not that long ago that said in 10 years it's going to be bigger than Scotch whiskey.
Well, do you know what?
It has lots of potential, but let's be realistic. It has some heap of distance to cover in 10 years.
It's not just the distance. I think I had a blunt conversation with someone today, and I made it quite clear. Like, people get really angsty about their whiskies, and I think at the moment we've only got a couple of distilleries with their own whiskey, and we know what it tastes like. Yeah. And I've said to people, do you know what? With the 30 distilleries that we might have at the moment, who are only maybe in year one or maybe month one production, that these guys have got 30, 40 years to go before we expect great things. Why would we expect great things? Why do people expect something amazing straight away? I mean, the Scottish distilleries that we're talking about have had hundreds of years, some of them, to perfect what they've got. Bushmills is 400 years in the making. It's not a couple of days. It's not a couple of years. And the traditions that are being kept on by IDL and the guys in Jameson and the Green Spots and the Redbreasts of the world, the Midlands, these are tried and tested formulas. The new distilleries are coming through and will take time to give us the perfect liquid. So, we are miles away from Scotland. Miles and miles and miles. But it's based on the fact that they've had a long time to get to that level.
I mean, a lot of people, this whenever there was the Q&A last night, I think there was a couple of guys there that weren't appreciating the likes of cask finishing. The cost that's involved in getting good sherry cask these days is unbelievable. I mean, it's thousands of pounds for a top quality cask, and people don't appreciate this. They think, oh, well, it's a sherry cask finish. Now, Bush Mills have centuries, if you like, of connections with people buying sherry casks. Some new guy who's only opening up a distillery trying to do that has real difficulty sourcing. Oh, there we go. It's you know what it's like. You know those spray things you get in the air fresheners and that. You go, what was that? You got to somebody's house. And
That's exactly what. But I was just like, I want to drink, but I don't want to be rude.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, listen, Mark Stevenson has come in with a very good thing. He says, if the Scottish whiskey industry stood still, we might start to catch up, but they aren't going to sit on their laurels, so 10 years is unrealistic.
Yeah, I think that Mark makes a very good point there, because actually, I mean, we are in a position whereby we're starting to move. We're moving. The Irish whiskey, industry is moving. But do you know what? The fact that it's such a long way away from being anywhere close to Scottish whiskey must be the biggest positive, because surely the growth of Irish whiskey, the trajectory, should just be going up and up and up and up, and
it should be,
and it should be.
But I kind of have this mixed feeling about where we are just at the minute with the Irish whiskey, in that we're in a very sort of weird position where we've got an explosion of different whiskey brands, different whiskey distilleries, all young, exciting stuff. But we do have this gap to overcome, this gap to get between the opening and when they get to their quality spirit that is good enough to stand up against Scotland. Now, let's be honest, there's thousands of new distilleries opening up all over the world, but not very many of them have the brand recognition that Ireland and Scotland have. So we were so close. I mean, I can see it from my house that you have that competition, and you don't have a long, long way for Ireland to get to where Scotland is. But Scotland don't need to, better not rest on their laurels, because if they do, they will get superseded by all the competition that's coming. I mean, one thing last night, the guy asked about emerging markets. I didn't mention England. There's lots and lots of good whiskey coming out.
Do you know what? We didn't mention England, and you know what's a shame, because
it was 0-0. It was 0-0, Paul.
Yes. Yes. Get in there, boys.
Oh yes. And a very exciting 0-0 draw.
See, if Scotland had, I tell you this, if Scotland had a world-class striker, we'd be dangerous. We'd be dangerous. We've been nicking wins all over the place. We can still qualify. We just need a good drubbing against the Croatians.
A good brown envelope, and then you're flying.
No, like in terms of the English distilleries, we have Cotswold Distillery as part of the. We will represent the Cotswold Distillery's whiskey at the festival, and that's interesting because out of all the distilleries in England that have been around for. Some have been around for a little while, actually, and they've been producing spirit. But actually, I think the Cotswold whiskey is really good. And I think that's interesting because a lot of people will be like, it's English whiskey, a bit dubious, not too sure about that. Cotswold whiskey, spot on. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, I mean, if we have maybe in England just now, I think it's circa 20 distilleries, give or take.
I think it's slightly more than that.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's incredible. And if they get it right, if they get the product right, sure, why wouldn't it be an emerging whiskey market? Absolutely. And they've never had heritage. England have not had a whiskey heritage. They've not had that. They don't have anything like that. And we've got new stuff happening in Wales as well. I mean, we're aware of Penderyn. I mean, that's just something that's been around for a little while now, and they've done well. But we've got some new guys. We're going to, again, represent... we've got Aber Falls. I'm sure it's actually called Aber Falls, isn't it? And that's run by the Hillwood Group. I want to make sure that is Aber Falls. Someone will Google check that one just in case it's not. I think it is Aber Falls. And then the other one is a company called Mallows.
Yeah.
And again, That's going to be very interesting. They actually represent, both of them are represented at the festival this year. So
And
yeah,
see,
Mallows is a very interesting concept. It's not necessarily at the moment Welsh whiskey per se,
yeah.
but it is whiskey. Interesting.
Well, here's the thing. Scotland and Ireland have their PGA product, and which is very good. It gives you brand recognition, but it is limiting. Whereas England and Wales and all these other places, they can make whiskey totally differently. That's like the Wild West. Certainly in the US, there's loads of new stuff happening. We interviewed the Takamine guys, the guy from Honkaku, who's this new Koji fermented. He still has a bit of it. It's really he didn't drink that last night. Whenever you came home pissed.
No, Paul was very kind to give me the Copeland.
No, well, the thing is, they have this totally new style of whiskey, and there's a lot. Guys are going to start imagining things that Scotland can't do and Ireland can't do, and who knows where that's going to lead? You know?
Yeah, no, you're spot on there. No, and listen, I suppose the festival. You know, we kind of want to see that. We want to see all these different. Look, I mean, I'm a champion of Irish whiskey. You know, I want to see Irish whiskey succeeding, and I want to see it doing well because actually, in the main, what I've drunk from the Irish whiskey industry, you know, be it the Bushmills or be it the Cooley or be it the IDL brands, the Middletons and the Jamesons and the Redbreast, and now the Dingles and the I mean certainly stepping away at some of the new Ecklinville product, and then I got again looking at these potchings that are emerging, you know, within the industry. There's a lot going on, a lot of beautiful taste. So we want to see that. We're going to champion that. You guys will champion that.
Funny enough, I've got Dingle on the radio show on Monday because they won a lot of awards over in England there, in London there.
Wow.
You know, so they're on the show. But
I see Tony Sillett has asked a question there. Does Spain really sell their old season sherry casks or keep them for themselves? Well, there's a lot of debate about this. The likes of Bushmills have had decades and decades of contacts of buying sherry casks direct from Jerez. Ecklinville, Paul, you'll back me up on this. They pay top dollar for their casks. They do.
I mean, and they want to be a sherry house, a bit like Glendronach. They want to be this. They want to be known as the sherry house of Irish whiskey. And here, they ain't far away with all those expressions they have already from the
single cask. The single cask stuff's.
Do you know what? We have a secret, and we haven't told anyone about it. Should I release it on this show?
Yes, Paul.
Do you know
hold the glass. Hold the glass cup. I want to see the shape of the glass.
I haven't got the glass. I don't have any product. You stole it all of me. I don't have any product. But no, and that here, I'm not going to talk about that hourglass. You thought I was going to talk about that. There's more secrets. Something we've not talked about. We've talked about we've got 4 releases this year. So I talked about how impressive this is. Having Macmira coming on board and giving us a bottling. So it's a 10-year-old Swedish single malt, which they're given from Macmira, which I think is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
To have an age statement malt. Boan are giving us a blend, but it's a blend which is being finished off in Scottish whiskey barrels. So I thought that was really interesting. That's a nice wee nod.
Yeah.
He says to me, and I'm like, that's very kind of you, Matthew. Very kind. and then we've got the lads at Cologne are giving us, well, let's just say it's a spirit from the north, and it's over 12 years. Well, I think it's about 12 years old, but so it's give or take.
Does it say it on the label, or can we expect more black?
Black it all out.
Black Burger Tip X
Sharpie, but it's a cast strength. So it's a cast strength, and then the 4th bottling that we have is from Ecklinville Distillery, and it is a Dunville's, and it is a single cask, and so that no one knows this yet. This is the first time I'm talking about this. So we have got the single cask strength, 12-year-old, the last 12-year-old cast strength PX from Dunville's to be released. The last
one.
The last one.
Aye. Right,
So-
what pack's that in? Hang on.
It's in good luck getting the bleep 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 bottle. Good luck, because
Yeah.
I think that we the 12-year-old cask strengths, to put this into perspective for everyone who doesn't know this, the 12-year-old cask strengths from Dunville's sell out within less than 3 minutes. I think the last one was a 3-minute sellout. The one before that was about 6-7 minutes. The one before that, again, the 12-year-old cask strengths sell out like that. So the fact that we have it for our festival, we're very, very privileged, very, very proud to have that. It comes in its own wee tube, Belfast Whiskey Week Festival tube, and again, it's its own single casking. So I think it's knowing that it's the last one, because they're concentrating on these very, very much older, 18-year-old, 19-year-old, and 20-year-old single casks going forward. And this being the last 12-year-old single cask, I just think is great. And I'm very, very privileged. And I'm glad first time I've talked about it. I haven't talked about it to anyone.
I
don't know why I'm telling you. I don't even know why I'm telling you. I'm emotional by it. I'm excited by it. Not right. I really am.
Honestly, I think the Dunville single cask stuff is just, it's absolutely superb.
Unreal.
It really is.
Unreal.
It really is.
So I'm back for somewhere.
Oh, yes. That's why you're telling us, because that's in the bloodstream. Do you remember whenever you were a kid? You used to do the beer. Somebody said, if you put a thing on it, you do that and you get drunk really quick. One tin of beer and you were drunk.
This must be going straight into this is like the Kevin and Perry movie.
Intravenous.
Through the eyes.
Intravenous.
Straight in the eyes.
It's like COVID. It's just infecting me.
Don't even.
No.
No, you know what? So, we've got some really, it's really interesting things at the festival. We've done really well. We've. I would have to go and check the figures, but I know for a fact, as of tonight, we have approximately, I think it was just shy of 400 unique users so far signed up to the festival. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. What platforms are it on, Paul? Is what?
Yeah, we created our own platform. So we've literally created our own. It's very versatile. You can use it on your phone or your iPad or your laptop, or you can put it on your TV. If you put it on your TV, it absolutely looks absolutely fantastic. But it is its own platform. It's it's a place where you can come and actually go into different zones. So to give you an idea, you will see this. I mean, you'll be able to see this once if you purchase a ticket. You'll be asked to go online and actually sign into the actual platform probably by Friday of next week, I think, or Friday of this week. So people are getting emails out this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, to ask you to sign into the platform. When you do, you'll be able to explore it. But and it will be ready. There'll be a lot of content. Every day there's content just going on to that platform. But it's it's very easy to use. Someone like yourself, Justin, it will say front bar. That'll be our first, our live stream. Number 1, front bar. Click on that, and for 12 hours during the day, you can watch all the tastings. You click on the back bar, it's the same. It's just a different venue. So, front bar is going to be the Duke of York. Back bar is going to be maybe it's the Garrick, or it's Madden's, or it's Hinch Distillery, or it's
you can watch them all no matter what package you've bought. Basically, yes.
Oh, listen, we're not going to stop people from watching all of the shows. In fact, we encourage people. There's if you don't even want to take part with the alcohol, with the whiskies that are being donated by the distilleries, then don't worry about that. You can actually get yourself a nosy pass. I call it the nosy pass, but it's called the white pass. It costs £6. But for £6, you're getting 216 hours worth of content. You're getting the opportunity to come and watch all of this information and dissect it for the next 6 months.
Not even Jim Davison does it for that price.
Listen, do you know what? It is the cheapest whiskey festival that is, of its size. There's no doubt about that. I mean, not to name and shame people, but some people charging £20 odd a ticket for just to come and watching a couple of shows, I find very irritating. So I find this, what we designed this was, well, do you know what? We need to cost it somehow. It can't just be free event, that wouldn't be very fair on the actual brands themselves, and for the people purchasing the other tickets, wouldn't be necessarily fair. But a little £6 token to come and witness what's happening and get involved and talk to people, because you know what, we've actually created something very interactive. It's a place where, Justin, you can go on and you can create your own profile. You can have your wee picture on there, and you can have like all your links to all your social media accounts. You know, if you own a business, if you own like, you know, I suppose a blog or something, you can put all that information on there. And then, you know, there's Marty. Marty, he logs on. He's like, oh, you know what? That Justin fellow looks interesting. I'll message him, see what he's all about. Maybe we hook up. So if you're in the same country, you know, it's going to allow people to tap into each other's networks. You know, people who are in India, for example, say if you've got 50, 60, 100 people from India, well, they can all network themselves, you know, and get to know each other. And we've got a positive grouping in Argentina, lots of positive groupings across the States, positive groupings in places like Germany and Sweden and Australia. These are different groupings of people who can all communicate with each other, you know.
Paul, you can't see it, but Sean McClanahan says, sounds like Ballymena prices.
That must be some form of racism or sectarianism or gender identityism or something.
Listen, that's very reasonable access for somebody that wants to look in. Yes, it is. But of course, at the other extreme, you're paying big money, but you're getting some serious whiskey for that money.
Yeah, I mean, look, if people want to go on and have a look at the website, it's pretty simple. It's belfastwhiskeyweek.com. It will show you every event. So there's at the moment listed somewhere around 95 events. That probably will increase to about 100 before the tickets stopped selling. So the tickets go on sale 2 days ago. They went on sale 2 days ago, and they will stop selling, I believe, on the 15th of July. It's the last day you can purchase the tickets, the 15th of July. But those tickets, over half of them have been sold already. So what I would say is half of them sold out within the space of 24 hours. Well done to people buying the tickets. But lots of those tickets will be at £15. And all the introduction boxes from the distilleries are £15. That's 3 50ml samplings that have been donated by the distilleries and a glass. So a really nice Irish whiskey tooth glass branded by Belfast Whiskey Week, and 3 50ml samples for £15. No offence, but that's cheaper than going into a bar and asking for 3 whiskies.
Yep.
That's a fact.
That is. I mean, the Glencairn glasses. The Glencairn glass is about a tenner if you're buying them.
Yeah,
you know,
so I mean, look, I mean, here you can, no, look.
Yeah,
the glass is nearly free. I mean, we're talking about 3 50ml samples. If it was 50ml samples in a bar, you know, for a £5 each, you just wouldn't get it. You just can't get it. And some of these whiskies that have been donated are more expensive than that. I mean, and just to give a shout out, because it's not written down on the website at the moment, there's no information about each one of those sets. And for people, that might be a bit frustrating. So I'm going to talk about that for a second. But one of those sets is McConnell's. McConnell's we know as a 5-year-old blend. Yeah. But in their introduction set, and this is just to give you an idea, in their introduction set, you have a 5-year-old blend, and then you have 2 single malts. One of those single malts is a 17-year-old. So, I mean, it's you know, for a 17-year-old, we're getting it pretty damn cheap. You know, and I'm thinking to myself, that's pretty cool. But, you know, we're going to update all of our packs to make sure that everyone knows what they're missing out on, because that'd be fair now. But I think we have a beautiful whiskey community who have a lot of blind faith, understand that what we did last year, we put together some amazing packs. And again, this year, there's no doubt about that. We're cracking open bottles of whiskey, you know, for some of these pre-1970s, pre-1980s tastings, which are in their thousands. Most of the bottles are, you know, £1,000-odd. There's not a bottle in there less than, you know, a couple £100. They're very expensive. Yeah. And they're pre-19, and for an Irish whiskey pre-1970s, I mean, that's just mad. I mean, people collect these and put them in museums. Yeah, we're opening them. We're opening them. We're making sure people can taste them. You know what? And then we decide, you know, what was it like back then? Was it worth it? Are we better now? Are we better now? Is an interesting point. Well, yeah. I mean, the Scottish ones. I've been trying to tell people that, you know, there's even just in terms of flavour drift, just unintentional flavour drift, that things have totally changed. I'm trying something from
the 1950s, 1960s, 70s, 80s. I mean, it's just a totally different product, totally different.
No, Marty, 100%, totally different product. And do you know what? Most of these ones from that period, the pre-70s or the pre-80s in Scotland, they're mothballed distilleries. They're gone. They're gone. You're not going to see the likes. And I think with the 1980s Scotch ones, I mean, the majority of them are single malt. Majority of them are single malts. Majority of them might even be cask strength. But there's a lot of them there that you'll never even have heard of the distillery because they've been gone for so long. And it's nice to go back into that period in history and tasting what it was about. I mean, last year was beautiful insofar as that we had those types of tastings. We had with two Irish ones and one Scotch, and this year we've gone again 2 Irish, and this time we've increased the Scotch to 2. But you know what? There's not many people doing this. There's not many people doing that type of tasting, and we think that the whiskey community deserve that type of tasting, that they can come and have that opportunity, and the cost is not ridiculous. It's really not ridiculous.
I mean, honestly, you see, whenever you start going into the collectible stuff, and this is the only time people will get to taste this. Let's be honest. It's the only time they'll get to taste it, because the way Irish whiskey prices are going, or Scotch whiskey prices are going in terms of collectability, 2 years from now, people will look back and say, Christ, that bottle it was £1,000 then, it's 15 grand now.
Yeah,
I mean, you know that.
Well, I mean, for example, say this year we'll open a 1951 to Paul Castle, so that'll be getting drunk. I think at the moment it's 55. I think it's €55 a shot. Am I right? €55 a measure or something? And somewhere, no, sorry. Well, that's a lie.
That's more than that.
It's €175.
I was sitting there thinking. I thought you were going to say.
No.
I thought you were going to say it's 5,500 a bottle. I was going to say
no. Sorry, sorry. Hold on. I need to check.
Yeah.
I think it's £175 a shot in the Merchant in Belfast.
Mm-hmm.
If you bought the pack, which includes 6 whiskies, then it's only £200, or give or take 250, was it? So you're getting your measure and more, by the way, because it'll be a 35ml measure in there, and then you're getting an R5. You're getting your 5 whiskies, So here, madness. We're opening these bottles because they need to be drunk. You know what I mean? That's the main thing.
Yeah.
I suppose the thing for the if they're for the enthusiast, they're for the whiskey drinker. The festival is designed predominantly to introduce people to Irish whiskey. So there's a lot of introduction sets. There's a lot of getting to know whiskey in a fun, enjoyable way, and again cost effective for people. We've got other things at the festival aren't just whiskey. We've got armagnac. We've got some gin stuff.
Mezcal.
We've got mezcal. Yeah, I mean, look. We've got wine and whiskey, so we're looking at how wine and whiskey is paired together. We've got all these beautiful food pairings. I know Justin's gagging to try our donuts and whiskey tasting. We've got donuts and whiskey, chocolate and whiskey, cheese and whiskey, ribs and whiskey, or ribs and bourbon. But having so much different type of events to allow people to try whiskey, have a bit of fun, and it is a festival with music and comedy. We've got pre-recorded. We've got some headline acts. In fact, I was just off the phone today, just confirming one of our headline acts who's really big in country music down south and in the southern part of Ireland, and she is 100% guaranteed to headline this year. We're just buzzing. We're just buzzing to have that that type of person who wants to be involved in the festival. Like I mentioned last night, like 2 big brands I'm super keen on being involved in this festival are from Scotland. They're not necessarily from here. And I'm a champion of the distilleries here, but to have Scotch Malt Whisky Society take this seriously, to have Douglas Laings take this seriously, I am blown away. I'm John. Honestly, I probably use the word I probably use it quite a lot because I actually do feel humbled. I genuinely do feel humbled. Like there's not another word other than that, because it makes you feel Yeah, do you know what? It's right.
But
How you can be put into that kind of perspective, and you rightly say at the very start, Marty. This is our third year.
Yeah.
We have plans for next year. We have our dates for next year. We have our venues for next year nearly sewn up. We have, and we have our big plans for next year because we want it to be a huge, big physical festival. So it's something that is growing, but it's something that, like, I'm witnessing right now, watching so many people interact with the festival, which has been very, very humbling, genuinely.
No, you deserve, but I mean, you deserve all the plaudits you get, mate. Because I mean,
No.
you are, but I mean, you're hugely energetic. I mean, I mean, you do the bulk of the work, and I know that, and there's loads of other people help you out and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, as you have been the driving force, you've been the face of it. You've done pretty much everything from day one, and you do deserve all the plaudits you get. You really do.
Oh, that's very kind. I want to, like, I'll be honest. I mean, I might do a wee bit of the work. I might maybe do like 5 or 6% of it. But there's guys, right? There's guys out there, and I'm going to say this. So Johnny from Studio Stereo. So Johnny does all of our design work. I mean, I might come up with some mad inspirational ideas.
Yeah.
But he does all of our design work. He does every single bit of it. That's
That
this
looks
year's box.
That looks pretty cool now. That looks cool.
Yeah, that looks cool. So
Looks
he's all about our boxes this year. He does everything in design for us. All the physical writing, everything. I mean, anything that's been written, that's all been me. But I mean, he just like puts into beautiful PDFs and he puts into beautiful, packaging, which is great.
Yeah.
And then we've got some other people. I mean, I want to give a big shout out to Niall, who, we had a great IT team last year, and they were all absolutely fantastic. And Niall's helped out this year as well. And if it wasn't for people like, I'm not very good when it comes to IT, but when we've got an IT guy who can literally make things easier for me, like I might come up with some really random ideas, and all of a sudden he's, I don't understand.
I'm not an IT person. I just know how to press the buttons.
But I don't. That's the key fundamental difference, Justin.
It's key having someone that can do that. And then we've got a beautiful wee team of people who are working hard behind the scenes. So Grace and Louise, we've got Grania, Stuart, who's coming on board, Michael. There's a lot of them, but these guys they're very keen to support the festival, get it working, get it happening. But you know what? It would never work if it wasn't for those people. Like I mean, there's so much I can do, and then I need support. There's no doubt I need help.
No man is an island. No man is an island, Paul. But the thing is, I mean, you're the face. You've been the driving force really from day one, and to say you do need your plaudits for that. But
right.
what you've ended up where it is now has been fabulous, and it's going to be a fabulous event. And when it gets back to being physical, I mean, it's going to be absolutely a nailed-on event the whole way through in Belfast, and something that tourists can come to, and it's just going to get bigger and bigger.
Do you know what? See, for the tourist market, I mean, like, everyone loves a festival. What I don't get about local people, and I found it myself, like, I mean, obviously being Scottish, I mean, in Scotland, we've got some fantastic festivals. And where I'm from in Scotland, a lovely little place, just outside a lovely little town called Lanark. And we have a festival there once a year called Laminers, and it's absolutely brilliant. It takes its roots, for hundreds of years. It's been around for a long, 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 long time. And
Justin was there the first year they held it.
I can imagine. But it's one of those places which medieval stuff. I mean, Laminers would have gone right back. And do you know what? See, because it was on my doorstep, I would have gone to it as a child, as a teenager, and through into my early adulthood. I would have loved to have gone, and that's exciting, and that would have excited me. And what I don't get sometimes is when people don't see what's on their doorstep. Yeah. Because actually, also when I go traveling, if I go somewhere, I want to take part in the local festivals. I want to take part in the local events, and it doesn't like. I'll give you a prime example. I ended up in Brest, just off the Brittany coast, and went into Brest, sailed into Brest, and jumped off the ship. And the first thing that I wanted to do was take part in whatever was on the go. And there was a music festival and food festival on at the same time. and it was the first place I ever tried horse meat. So I had a horse kebab.
No, well,
And
maybe
No,
if
it wasn't.
you shopped
No,
in
it wasn't.
Tesco's.
Probably not. Yeah, probably not. But, do you know what I mean? It was. But that's what I'm saying. Like, in Belfast, we've got festivals. We've got some absolutely fantastic festivals, and a lot of times, local people, don't really buy into it. They don't really get it. That it's on. It's in their city. It's on their doorstep. Fricking get involved, because it's there. It's yours. Belongs to you. And Belfast Whiskey Week belongs to the people of Belfast. I might be making it happen, but it actually belongs to the people of Belfast. But it's their festival. That's why it's called Belfast Whiskey Week. It could be called anything, and it could be anywhere. This could be done anywhere, really. But we're making it about Belfast. We're making it about the history and the heritage and the legacy and the absolutely fantastic opportunity that Belfast has to put itself right back on a world stage when it comes to whiskey. So let's make that happen. And I'm buzzing I'm generally buzzing for the tourists who can come here next year, who can come here and see and taste and have fun and do the touristy thing, which is, take part in all those little events, go and see all the distilleries we have on our doorstep. So those tours that will leave Belfast to go to Bushmills, that will leave to go to Ecklinville and leave to go to Hinge and Copeland, and Shortcross, then why wouldn't you make that trip to Belfast to do that?
And the thing about it is, when I was asked on Thursday there was a cruise ship arrived at Belfast, the first one in almost 2 years.
Yeah.
And I done a tour out of it, and we're standing at Stormont, and I'm berating the politicians over here, just how useless they all are, right? And
God love them. God love them.
God love them, because they need sympathy, right there. Anyway, so this woman turned around, she says to me, "Is it true enough there's food shortages in Northern Ireland?" I says, "Do I look like I'm hungered?" I says, "No." And this is the perception. People get the perception of what this place is like from what they watch in the news. And Belfast, all around the whole place, down the north coast, down in Hinch and all these places, the people are the friendliest people in the world. We're the nicest. And anytime I'm doing a tour, I see myself as an ambassador for the place to tell people, listen, don't believe the nonsense. Don't believe the news. Don't believe any of that. It's a brilliant place to be. And the festival.
No, we don't. You know what we don't have? We don't have a food shortage, right?
No,
but we've got a talent shortage. Our talent goes elsewhere. It doesn't come back. We want to talk about real things. You know what I mean? We've got a political freaking stalemate, which is causing us to have real issues when it comes to business. Business can't function. Do you know what I mean? Let's talk about real stuff.
Exactly.
Northern Ireland's in a pickle.
Northern Ireland could be the single best place to do business in the whole of Europe.
Oh, I would love it.
If anybody in politics could be bothered to look after the people,
I have to say this because it affects every business I'm involved in. It doesn't matter what business I have, be it, listen, I'm going to give some shout outs to some of the stuff. So the dental practice, you know what I mean? Has it been screwed over? Yes, big time. Is the NHS dentistry being screwed over at the moment? Yes, big time. Get it freaking sorted, or at some point we're going to have no NHS dentistry. Second of all, soccer, football. My little football team, Belfast Celtic, have had 2 seasons now cancelled, not able to play football. What's going on here? Let's make this, let's make this work properly for everyone. Do you know what I mean? And then look, what we're doing here in terms of, hold on, the film industry. Some of the film industry has managed to function. That's perfectly fine. But see all the little indie films, all the very small productions, well, they've not been able to fund. The funding hasn't come through for those. Do you know what I mean? So that needs to be resolved. And then
they're filming Dungeons and Dragons down the road from me.
Aye, because that's on a shoestring budget, that one. Look, they're on big bucks. I'm talking about the ones that rely on local funding and rely on local businesses to make things like that work. And it's just and you know what? We just need stability, political stability that allows people to function, to get jobs done, to get it right. And here, we just need that.
And it comes down back to the whiskey. As you said on your talk last night, and it was fabulous to hear, whiskey was massive industry in Belfast. And whenever you read all the literature, they talk about the linen, they talk about shipbuilding, they talk about tea, and but whiskey never gets a mention. And the thing is,
Marty, I've never. I mean, like I've been around Belfast now. I've been here for over 12 years. I have never once seen as much information about whiskey as I do about the Titanic. And we're well versed. I mean, if you don't know anything about the Titanic, you have not lived in the last. I mean, because the Titanic and the history of the Titanic is thrown down your throat. And don't get me wrong, it's a very interesting history, and it's a beautiful history, and it's a beautiful story, and it conjures up such a romance, such a sorrow, such a such love and hope and everything else.
Yeah.
However, why are we not celebrating other things that are super, super positive?
Well,
So,
hold on,
why
I've
would
got
we
to
not
tell him. I've got to
celebrate
tell him a
Christmas?
Titanic joke. I've got to do my Titanic joke.
Oh,
Go ahead.
right.
Okay, see, the Titanic was all right when it left Belfast. Some people blame the English sea captain. Some people blame the Scottish navigator, but I blame that Canadian iceberg, Geordie Burke. It's funny. It is funny.
In Canadian French, it would be.
But you see what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
Like, we do. Well, look, Belfast has a beautiful history of lots of different things. It's a very innovative city, very innovative. But whiskey was, and again, historically, you can go and check this and fact check it. When whiskey was produced here in Belfast, you had major distilleries and major distilling, and that major distilling per head, per employee, was producing more money than any of the other industries in Belfast. And that says it all.
Well, one of the things about Dunville's was supplying the Scottish industry. Dunville's they had to call them. They were sending it to Scotland to supply their Scottish distilleries because they couldn't make enough.
That's correct. And do you know what? There's some beautiful wee stories about how Haig's whiskey in Scotland might have one point have had Irish whiskey poured into it because there was that much whiskey from here going to Scotland. And okay, do you know there's a lot of that, and do you know what? Just as a nation, we just don't talk about it enough. Irish whiskey is talked about, and it's talked about predominantly as a southern product and Bushmills.
Yeah.
And I think that needs to change. We need a new narrative. We need to now start talking about Belfast as being specifically at one point the whiskey capital of the world. It needs to reverse that backwards. Yep. And we now look at and here for all the people in County Down, you guys in County Down must be buzzing. You're sitting there with all these distilleries. There's more distilleries in County Down than there are in Dublin. Yep. You are the mecca of Irish whiskey. Why, we should be celebrating. I want everyone in County Down to buy a pack for the whiskey week and just come and have crack and revel in the fact
absolutely
you've got that, because here that's something to be very, very proud of, super proud. No, I'm only joking. You don't have to buy a pack. I was only playing, but listen, just get involved.
Get involved.
Hold on, do we need to talk about something else with him? A fifth sense or something like that?
I was going to, but we're half an hour over because every time we start talking to Paul, we go over. If you tune in next week, don't listen. No problem at all, my friend. But if you tune in next week, we'll do what I was going to do tonight later on.
Did I mess up? Did I mess
up?
No.
I had a wee thing planned that I thought to myself, we'll do this because I read an interesting article during the week. And I thought this would be a nice one, but we'll just save it for next week. So if you want to know what we're going to do this week, save it for next week.
You're making me tune in next week. I like that.
Keep you in suspense. I want to know what the glass looks like. No
one's going to know. Listen. Here, some people are really nice. They've really, as I say, there's been a lot of people who've got into this festival and just gone with it. Understand we're going to do something cool.
You see that tour glass that I left behind? That is a far better glass than that Glencairn. Far better.
Thank you. Very kind. Well, the new glass, we've got the tooth, the branded clear tooth glass, and that's beautiful. And everyone who gets an induction pack will get that. People with master classes will get that. People with a bonus box will get that. But there's another glass.
Is it a cocktail glass? Is it a cocktail glass with an umbrella, Paul? Tell me.
Do you know what we're doing? We're doing cocktails. Listen, we're doing some work with the guys from the cocktail keg company. Yes, we're doing, the lads there.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, we're excited to do that. We're going to have some cocktails with Boatyard also. They're doing some cocktails for the festival. Cocktails are great, absolutely great. Cocktail glass, interesting. Look, we shall
Eat bananas.
We shall see. We shall see.
Sparklers and all.
I can't eat my bananas. I leave my bananas out on Saturday night for the hedgehog because they love them.
Oh yes, it's mad. I tell you, you wouldn't have heard the crap he was coming out with last night in the car on the way home.
I can imagine. He was, it looked like he enjoyed his food. I mean, the food was good. I mean, these guys at Yoka, chefs are great. We say, listen, here's some whiskey. Make me something special. And they are wonder. Well, absolutely.
Well,
wonder.
all I'll say is this: I had to listen. Would you stop at McDonald's on the way home?
No way.
No, I'm not stopping at McDonald's.
I gave you beef carpaccio. I gave you, smoked salmon.
I like the good stuff, but
you want McDonald's.
I like the good stuff, and I like the cheap stuff too. There's nothing wrong with McDonald's. All the farms are up there in Brown Valley Castle for McDonald's. Delicious stuff.
You know, whenever you're drunk, that's whatever you want. Give us a kebab. Give us a kebab. Give me a. That was him last night. Can we please stop at McDonald's? No. Please, no. I'm sorry, that's true. Genuinely true. For about 15 minutes, I had to listen to that on the way home. And it's your fault, by the way. It's your fault, by the way.
I blame me. That's it.
Knocked the whole lot of them. Drunk as a skunk.
Blame me, indeed. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Listen, thanks very much for last night. Thanks for coming on tonight. It's always great to speak to you, buddy. And
thank you.
We'll talk to you again soon, okay?
Very kind. You guys are absolutely darlings. Honestly, genuinely, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
All right.
I'm here.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend down the north coast.
All right.
Yes.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Good night. Good night. Good night. Now, what do you think of that, Marty? Excellent. We've got to give people a mention here before we go. I was trying to find my little hedgehog video to show you the hedgehogs. Right. Let me see what people are saying. Frank Hearn is saying, excellent once again. Many thanks for another great show.
I have a nice thing lined up for tonight. We'll do it next week. Okay?
Yeah. Thanks to Justin Murray. I've learned so much about whiskey, and now Paul, really looking forward to Belfast Whiskey Week. Connor is saying he forgot about this. Well, you can always watch it in replay on YouTube. It's the easiest place to find it. Irish Whiskey Review. Mark Kerr is saying, thanks, Paul. Great show. James and Murray Doctor saying, great show. Jody Burke saying, thanks, Paul. Linda Cox is saying, thanks, Paul. And Sean McLennan is saying, thanks, Paul. Okay. Mark Stephen is saying, Connor, if you haven't got a McConnell's intro tasting set, get one. There you go. Michael Matthews, well done for one man. Great show. Thanks, lads. Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. We'll call it a wrap because then I can make it. I can make Paul into a 1 hour show for Instagram then. So that'll do fantastic. All right. Good night.
Wait, get your McDonald's.
I'm away to get my McDonald's. All right.